Hi all, welcome back and thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm back with another video where I'm going to be talking about different Disney fan theories. I've got quite a few films that I want to talk about, but today I thought I'd talk about Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now, a lot of people saw this like when they were younger but haven't watched it since, and if you haven't watched it as an adult, please go and have a look at it again. There's so many like different sort of deeper parts that I didn't get onto when I was a child, but after watching this, please go and have another look at it, because you'll see the film, and hopefully after this video you'll see certain parts of it in a whole different light, because I know that I did once I read these theories and thought of some things myself. So without sort of further ado, I will begin. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is a little bit shorter. I don't know if I like this one, but I thought it was just worth mentioning because I thought, well, I love Esmeralda, but Esmeralda being from the like sort of gypsy world and stuff like that, there's a lot of sort of magic and obviously curses and things, as people sort of are led to believe. And how this theory goes is that when Frollo was watching her dance in the Festival of Fools, when she walks over to Frollo and she puts like her scarf around his neck, that actually what she's doing there is placing a curse on him, and the scarf isn't a scarf at all, but or it is a scarf, but it's the medium in which she's placing a curse on him to become sort of insane. And I sort of get why these people, like, you know, this theory's come about, because prior to it, Frollo just seems like he's quite an evil guy. But he seems to have some sort of his faculties there. And then after that, he becomes so wildly obsessed with Esmeralda that he in fact starts, like, in Hellfire, he sees these figures that are scaring him, and whether that's just symbolism or whatnot. Personally, I think it's more just symbolism, but still. And then and my issue with it as well is, why would Esmeralda want to make Frollo obsessive over her? Because realistically, she needs to try and keep, like, you know, sort of not a lower profile, but she wouldn't want him to become obsessed with her to the point where he's so determined to find her in the Court of Miracles, because his ultimate goal is to destroy the gypsies and the Court of Miracles and stuff. So although it was interesting to see and to read about, I don't think that it's true. I think that it's just that was just the point where he'd had that physical contact with her and that proper contact with her, and he just become obsessive. So the main theory to come out of this, and it's a question that a lot of people have had over many years, is, are the gargoyles real? Now, this film is shrouded in realism. It's a film. The only sort of magic that you see, again, is things like sleight of hand and things from, like, you know, the Court of Miracles and the gypsies and the entertainers and stuff like that. But there isn't actual, like, true magic, if you get me. It's based on a lot of realism. So the thought of having these gargoyles, which are these actual beings, doesn't really fit in with the film, per se. Also, as well, so when Frollo comes up to the tower of the cathedral and Quasi's talking to himself, and he goes like, and even Quasi goes, yes, stone doesn't talk and things, like, he knows that they're stone, he knows they don't talk. Now, all throughout the film, Quasi is wanting to be portrayed and seen as a kind person, because realistically that personalities that he's got is quite a lot of the only thing that's going for him in his mind. Do you know what I mean? So to be seen as a good person, to be seen as virtuous type of thing, is going to be what he ultimately wants to do. So, are the gargoyles real, or are they a way of him sort of getting his head around doing things that are less savoury? Now, In a Guy Like You, although it's an awful song, I hate that part, but they put up streamers and all this type of stuff for, like, you know, going a guy like you, and they, like, decorate the room, and then when it actually comes into reality again, it's not. It's just, like, bits of rags strewn about. Now, was that actually just Quasi jumping around doing that and pretending that the gargoyles were the ones singing and doing all that? I think so. And then when you get to the end of the film, when it's sort of Frollo's demise and there's, like, the battle outside the cathedral, Quasi's jumping around the cathedral, but then you see the gargoyles, like, pouring lava over the people and things like that. I personally think that what is happening there is actually Quasi is the one that is doing those things, but using his imaginary sort of gargoyles to disassociate those bad actions from himself, so that it's like, that helped, but I didn't do that. I'm helping to maintain that sort of air of kindness that he holds quite close to himself. And if you watch it, you see him jumping around. It's very plausible that he could have been the one that does that. Even Frollo's death, there's even talk that he's holding onto a gargoyle which breaks and he falls, but actually was that Quasi that yeet that sort of makes him fall, or did Quasi break it, or anything like that. So there's some debate on the involvement that he might have had in Frollo's demise. So they're the main sort of two theories around Hunchback of Notre Dame. The second one, I think, is more plausible. I think that it actually has legs to stand on, and in all honesty, I think that is true, because it is, as I say, it's a film that's shrouded in realism. It's not a film that would have these imaginary, like, you know, little cartoony comic relief sort of characters. And I know that it's probably there as well to make it so that it's more accessible for children, because they can't have Quasimodo just going around doing essentially bad things and hurting innocent people and things like that. It's always a matter of the hero tends to, in most children films, the hero tends to step away from the villain, and then the villain's demise happens. It happens in Tarzan, it happens in Beauty and the Beast, it happens so many, even Snow White from the first one. The heroes of that story don't cause the evil queen's demise, but lightning does, and things like that. So is that a way of, one, keeping it child friendly, and two, Quasi's way of justifying what has happened is to essentially, in his mind, remove himself from the situation, be like, well, I didn't do that with the lava, that was these beings that are not real. I think that's more plausible. I've never seen a sort of statement on that from Disney, and if there is, then please link it below. If you have any sort of comments, questions, or other theories regarding Hunchback of Notre Dame, please comment them below. I would love to see it and love to have a discussion about it. If there's any films in particular that you want me to go over and find some fan theories and discuss them, please leave a comment below. Any suggestions are always welcome. And as ever, please like, subscribe and ring the bell so you get notifications of when I'm posting my videos. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.